Good afternoon, and welcome to this class that will focus on hips in order to help the lower back. Sometimes our back pain could be because of the hips, the hip flexors. So we'll focus on those today. You'll notice I'm sitting on a little pillow here. I've talked about this a few times, but it's great when you have low back issues, when you are in the seated postures of yoga or anything else you practice, to be near the edge of a pillow to help support the spine. So have some pillows available. Blocks are nice for underneath the hands for the low crescent that we have on tap for today. But for now, let's lie down and put that pillow or blanket or bolster underneath the pelvis. And just feel its softness. Let the stress drain away as you heavy the shoulders, the back of the skull. From here, you can take those hands and wrap them around the back of the right leg and pull it in toward you to any degree. Lengthen and bend that leg. One more time. Pull toes toward the nose. And then cross that right ankle over the left thigh and just open up the knee. Really moderate here. We're not doing the clasp at this point. Just opening up through the front of this hip. One more inhale. And exhale to, for now, uncross the leg. We'll come to the opposite side. Hug that left knee in. Extend and bend. So if you like this. Kind of releasing the back line as well. Two more. Last one, reach. Again, you could draw that leg in a little closer. Doesn't have to. Then cross that same ankle over opposite thigh. Knee moves away from you. Flex through top foot to protect the knee. This is kind of your most gentle variation of figure four. And then release that. Lift up the hips to remove that pillow or bolster. You can stay lifted here if able, and press the backs, the arms into the earth. Use the legs, not the lower back here, as the heels isometrically, so they don't move, but isometrically draw toward your center and your ribs slide toward your pelvis. More inhale and exhale to slowly lower the chest first, then the mid back to lower back, and have the spine land. Ha. From here, we'll take that right leg up again, draw it in, and then cross it over the left thigh, the ankle over the left thigh. Take those hands, if it serves, weave them around the bottom thigh and pull it in toward you. Again, you could have stayed with the earlier option or could go back to that. Other leg can lengthen and bend a few times with your breath. Inhale and exhale. One more time, lengthen and rebend. in order to slide that leg along the earth, the left leg along the earth. So you come into a supine tree. Inhale. Exhale to bring that knee toward the sky, pull it in toward the chest again. If you need to, rebend that opposite leg. And from here, we'll take this leg across the body. So left hand comes to the outer right thigh as we draw it over. And this is where you could bend the bottom leg or stick a pillow, that same pillow, underneath that top thigh. Getting a little bit into the side of the glutes here. Thoracic mobility. Or inhale and exhale to return to your spine. And again, that right leg lengthens to the sky. Slide that left heel in. Both knees come in toward the chest for a nice little hug here as we lengthen those legs up to the sky. Plant that left foot, right foot rather, cross the left ankle over top, open up the knee. And this is where we might grab around that right back of thigh, flex top foot. I'm feeling a nice lower back release all of a sudden because some of my low back issues, when I do once in a while have a little bit of tension there, it's the hips in my case. Lengthen that bottom leg and bend. Lengthen, bend. 2 more. Last one, lengthen, reach, rebend, slide the foot along the earth because it's easier for the lower back. And here we land in supine tree where that left sole of foot comes to the inseam of the long leg. Hands could come to heart center for 2 breaths. And from here, you can aid that leg to come back to center. Lift it long toward the sky. You might again rebend that opposite leg. And then rebend left leg and take the right hand across the body to bring the leg over to the right hand side for a supine rotation. Again, pillow might come as a support underneath that top thigh. One more inhale here. And exhale to release on your spine. Both feet can plant. Let's also ground through the hands, roll up through the spine. Again, those ribs draw toward the pelvis. And lower, lower, lower back down to the mat. We'll roll over onto our bellies. Adjust as you need. And bend the knees and lull them side to side, or the shins side to side. Pause with them over to the right. You could roll the ankles here at the same time as you experience some release through the fronts of the hips, the legs, reverso circles. And then windshield washer the legs over to the opposite side. You can pause and or move through the ankles, both directions. And then again, those soles of feet turn toward the sky, and you can crisscross the shins and see how that feels in the lower back. And from here, shins come down. Slide those hands in toward you so you can press yourself up into a tabletop position. Arch the spine and round. Arch. Round, only to slide the hands in and come up onto the knees. So we can step forward with that left leg to start. And this is where blocks might come in handy underneath the hands, or some pillows if you need. Try here the 90-90 version of the lunge. So we're lined up, knee more closer underneath the pelvis. Tall, tall spine here. For me, I even feel this. Some people feel nothing. I already feel it. And I stretch through some of the hip flexors. Arms might reach up. And we can play here as the hands come back down. You could walk that left foot forward. You could bend the knee more richly with the support of the hands. You can come quite deep if you have the openness. And then explore different positions and how that affects the sensation of stretch. When I open up my hip flexors, I find my glutes can then fire properly, and that supports the lower back. Few breaths here. Press that back shin down. See if that changes things. More inhale. On the exhale, lengthen the lead legs and hips back in space and flex those left toes. If you'd like to come into a hamstring opener, you could always stay where you were too. And return again to the lunge, but bring that left hand in to the inseam. So both hands are on the same side of that lead leg, just as you'd like here. Some people like to stay down. Other people find they get a better release through kind of this hip flexor area if they lift and perhaps rock on the toes. Oh yeah. And lower that back knee again to the earth. Pause again. Maybe you come down a little bit further. Some people might have a block or a pillow and their forearms might come down. I'm not quite there yet. My one is a little lifted. Somewhere between with the bend of the arms is for me. And from here, just so you can see from the front, we can also explore blading that front foot. So you come onto the outside of the foot to see how this feels in the hip. If you don't like it, plant the foot again. If you'd like a little rotation, you can rotate toward that left leg. That same hand could come to the thigh or reach up. Then hand comes back down to the inseam as you ground that left foot. And from here, we'll just slide that left leg back so the knees are in alignment so we can switch sides. Right leg comes forward. And let's do the tall crescent first. So lengthen through the spine here. Hands where you'd like them, blocks, hips, up. Few breaths. So you press through front foot and back shin equally. One more inhale. And exhale to bend that front knee deeper. Maybe the hands come to either side of the leg. Adjust, explore the angle and the engagement of that back shin. Few more breaths here. Wide inhale. As you exhale through the mouth, lengthen that right leg. Again, flex the toes. Hips travel back in space, but not out to the side. That's so common. I often say the same cues a million times, but I know for myself, I love that in class because I need it. Every time I hear it, I go, oh, yeah, forgot about that. Our bodies want to take the easy way out always. More inhale and exhale to come forward again and pause. Not rushing here at all today. And let's bring that right hand to the inside of the right leg. And stay here. Subtle changes. Do you feel a difference? And let the breath guide you. If it's become staggered, then you know perhaps to back out a little. As long and strong, you know you're in the right place. From here, to bend those elbows if you need some more depth. And each side might be different. So just notice that. Know that each side's going to be different. So that's normal. And then if you wish, blade the right foot. Inhale. As you exhale, might lift up a little and rotate toward that lead leg. Hand could come to that same thigh. More inhale. Exhale. Foot returns to the grounded position. Hands can frame the front foot. And from here, a little different. Really press a lot of weight into your hands. You might need to scooch the back knee forward a little in order to slide. Good thing you got that blanket there. Your right leg down, so the shin lands on the mat, and you might slide the left leg back further. We're in kind of a different variation or moderated version of our pigeon, where the shin is directly underneath the knee. If this is not okay, come back onto your back for that figure four we did earlier. I find this variation, just for me personally, opens up more of the front of the hip flexor. So I like this version. Or if I'm feeling tight, sometimes this is available, but not the full pigeon with the draped shin in front. We will go there for some in a moment. If it's suitable for you, we'll offer it. might bend the back knee, maybe just keep that leg hovering, that shin hovering. Or I like to bring my right hand more centered in order to clasp that left shin with the same hand. Try, if you can, to keep the shoulders facing forward. Where the shoulders go, the hips will go, and vice versa. And let that back shin go if you had it. And scooch forward slightly so you can slide that right leg out and switch sides. Perhaps you're nice and tall here. Oh yeah, that's good. On this side. Oh. If you'd like quadricep stretch, bend the right knee. Like to take the left hand in front a little more and reach back with the right hand. Good flex or point that back foot. And let that go. Slide that left leg back. We'll come onto the belly just for a moment. Hands can come in front of you and see if you can have this come from the upper back. Just move through the upper back as you tuck and ground the pelvis and heavy the legs. Tiniest of lift. Keep it out of the lower back. Broaden across the chest. Slide the hands toward you. Sit back into child's pose if it's available, or maybe the hips and the knees stay in alignment. So maybe we're more in a tabletop. Come back into that tabletop and slide that right leg forward again. And this time you could do what we did before, or you might take that shin. I'll show you from this angle. Might take that shin and lay it out on the earth. I'm a little too tight, I think, for this today. Let's see. Too much Pilates, not enough yoga. You can see the shin. Mine's fairly close to my body. Closer is the body. Usually the easier it is. Some people have it out directly from the knee. And press that shin down. This is as far as I go. Some of you might come down just to show you. When you're ready, you'll just melt down. Oh, maybe I can. Here we go. The back leg nice and long. And the tongue can swirl around the top teeth to release tension in the hips. Reverse the tongue. Lower teeth swirl tongue. Switch directions. And let that go. Hopefully that helped release any holding to the jaw. That reciprocal relationship between hips, jaw, shoulders. Inhale here. And exhale, begin to press up. If you were lowered, and slide yourself into tabletop. Sway the hip side to side. And then still the hips to slide that left leg forward. Whichever variation you wish. Maybe shin is under thigh. Maybe not. Maybe the shin comes out in front of the body. And slowly allow yourself to sink, if that's for you, maybe even onto a pillow. That tongue can swirl around the bottom teeth. And reverse. Top teeth. Circle them. Notice the effect this might have on the jaw, the shoulders, maybe even the hips. And take the tongue the other way. And let that go. Breathe. More inhale here. And exhale to begin to lift if lowered. And we'll roll onto that left hip if you were there or wherever you are. Meet us. And a wide-legged straddle, maybe with that pillow underneath the hips to support the low back. You could also just lie on your back and open your legs too. Flex through the feet, inhale. And exhale to come forward to any degree. Inhale. And exhale to roll up. We'll get into the kind of the sides of the ribs, all the muscles that wrap around here. So there's two ways we could do this. You could draw that left foot to the inseam of the right leg, and then side bend toward the leg. You feel fairly open. You might keep both legs open and do the same thing. Side bend one way. Pause. And then rotate your torso slightly toward that leg. And come out of it a little in order to rise. And then other side, if you need to draw that right foot in, you can. More of a sense of lift than dumping. Just corrected myself there. So going, I lengthen both sides of the waist, even though there's an arc, and then rotate slightly toward the leg. Open back up and sit up nice and tall. Let's bring those legs together. Could do one leg at a time or both legs together. So you could choose one leg right now. I'll cue you halfway through. And switch sides if doing one side. Or inhale and exhale to roll up. Plant the feet. Give yourself a hug so you can allow the spine to round. And sit up nice and tall. And we'll come down onto our backs. If you'd like, along with the cobbler that we're about to do, you could have, we'll do it a different way today. I'll model it this way. You could have a blanket or pillow, right? So here, underneath the, if it's the blanket strip, underneath the shoulder blades. If it's the pillow, it'll go kind of from the ribs all the way to kind of the base of the skull, perhaps, depends on your pillow size. And then open up the knees. Here we get a little bit of thoracic opening. Upper body doesn't change. Let's take the legs and close them. We'll heel toe, the feet to the outside edges of the mats. The knees are still together, so they make a little mountain, a little triangle. This can alleviate tension in the sacral area. I naturally did it. You could bring your hands to the sacrum, index fingers together, thumbs together to make, again, a triangle, just like the triangle of your knees. The triangles of the pelvis. It's a lot of bones that kind of make some triangular shapes in the pelvis. The different angles to make up that bowl. When you inhale, you can imagine the pelvic floor, it's the base of the perineum, descend toward the toes. As you exhale, just let everything soften. When you inhale, feel that sense of stretch toward the toes, the breath. And exhale to release. A few breaths like this, that away and down, that slight up and in that naturally happens. But the exhale, inhale, that slight balloon down toward the toes. And that slight lift, be like an elevator ride. Or inhale and exhale to allow the right leg to turn inward. So that right inner thigh to come toward the earth. The left thigh will open out as the outer edge touches. Sorry, I didn't explain that well. But we're letting that right inner thigh go toward the earth. Internal rotation. Again, if it's available, otherwise stay with a nice little knee mountain. Some of you might lengthen out the legs as you come onto the back. Naturally, you'll just land there. Ah. Slide those feet back in and allow the left inner thigh to drape toward the earth as you rotate the legs right. And lengthen those legs. That wide V. And you could stay right here or roll to the side, remove your little pillow or bolster from underneath the chest. You could plant the feet if there's still tension in the lower back. Could also move that pillow or blanket to underneath the legs, the thighs, or under the knees, under the shins, whatever gives you a sense of ease in the low back. So it could be a stack of blankets or pillows, allowing a rich knee bend. Three-part breath here to finish, if you wish. You could always maintain long, slow, deep breathing. Or a little sip of air, another little sip of air through the nose, and a third sip of air. And exhale with the tongue to the roof of the mouth, through the mouth. Inhale a sip. Again. Final time. And exhale through the mouth, tongue to the roof. Sniff. Sniff. Final time. Exhale through the mouth. Continue this. And if you find the tongue to the roof of the mouth creates tension through the front of the neck, you could just let the tongue be soft as well. Notice if with each exhale, the back starts to melt to the earth. Sense any shifts as you go through this breath cycle. Final round. Let the breath breathe you. Let it do what it wants. You, the observer. Scan the body. Notice how it feels from the tips of your toes up through the legs, to the hips, the pelvis, the low back, sides of the waist. As you inhale, feel the long spill out to the sides, three-dimensional breath. Soften, exhale through the mouth. Again, sense those lungs. As you exhale, the shoulders melt, the arms heavy, the neck lengthens, and the skull growls. If you can sense your whole body lying here on the floor. Return to the breath if you need a further anchor as you breathe in prana. And exhale. It does not serve. And begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. And roll the wrists and the ankles. Reverse. And just for a final release, sometimes release the arms, it releases the ribs and the breathing. Forearm stretch. Take one palm to the other one. And stretch here. Flip the hand of the arm you were just stretching over, and more gently you can press here, and the hand presses back. So both hands are pressing into one another. Gently. And then we'll switch. It's like one palm turns toward the sky as if holding a tray. The other hand comes to help with the stretch of the forearm. And flip that hand. More gentle this time. Ha. And from here, can roll onto one side. A little ball to breathe into the lower back. Before you rise to a seated posture of your choice. Maybe on that pillow. Drop the chin. And look up as the arms circle up. And bring the hands to heart center. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Satnam. I hope you enjoyed this class for low back and hips, freeing the hips to perhaps help the lower back if that's the origin of the discomfort for you. And a nice slow pace. Not quite yin, but it reminded me of it. And I do have lots of yin classes that are very slow like that in the library. So focusing on fascial stretching, deep connective tissue release, as well as some gentle mat time practices with a lot more mobility and movement. So feel free to explore those, subscribe if you like what you see in the playlists, and have a great day.